Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Chivalry 2 developer stream. My name is Jen, and today I'm joined once again by one of our producers here on Chivalry 2, Moon Moon. Thanks for joining me, Moon.
Fancy seeing you here.
What? Fancy to
I
see
love
you
it. We
here.
already have calls for duels in the chat. I think we're off to the perfect Chivalry 2 start.
I'm seeing some calls from some 1v1s, Battle Me 300 gang. Hi, guys.
Good to see you guys.
Ramaphosa, Benzo Effect. Thanks for joining us, guys. We're super excited to have you all with us today. I see a lot of first-time viewers, so thanks for joining us for the first time, if this is your first time here. Hello, Scoots Z7. Welcome to the stream.
Oh, I see someone was at PAX East 2020. Yeah, I
like
think
10 years
both of us were
ago.
there for that one.
Yeah.
We had the Lionspire demo from way back when.
And we had it all on controllers, too.
Yeah, I think that was our first big reveal of actually showing the gameplay and stuff. And it's pretty awesome to see how far it's come, and that Lionspire battle still remains just as fantastic as it was, and maybe even a little bit more since we've had to polish the game and stuff.
Yeah, thanks to community feedback, we're always integrating new changes, balance changes. So it's always exciting to see how the game's evolving over time. Thanks to you guys. We appreciate it.
It's a very community-centric stream. I know people are talking a little bit about community stuff. So we'll have some stuff to talk about today, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so this morning, I'm going to swap us over to a different screen. This morning, we released our roadmap update, which I know doesn't have a super ton amount of info on it, but it does have one big piece of information, which is basically that the order of the reinforced update and what we're still calling biggest update yet, as its name hasn't been released, have been swapped around. So on screen right now, I'm showing a post-launch roadmap graphic for you guys. But if you want to look at it on your own browser, it's chivalry2.com/roadmap, and you can see that there at any time. There's a few key pieces of information that this means, which is that the number one thing is that there's not really any delay in when the next update comes out. It just means that the order of these two updates is swapped. So due to the way that our developer team can work on updates, we have some people working on some content and then other developers working on another one. And we've just made a little bit more progress on this big update that we're going to be moving it ahead. So you're still getting a content update when we've planned to have a content update. It's just going to be different content within that update, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of like a race between which team's going to finish which first. And then originally we expected that the reinforcement was going to be the first one to be done, but now it's looking like the content update. So nothing's changed. It's just a bit of an order change. So.
Yeah, so we've still got the console server browser is still included in the biggest update yet. But we've moved the cross-party is, well, not moved, because the cross-party is still part of the reinforced update, along with the new weapon and quality of life improvements. Is still contained inside that reinforced update. And the biggest update yet is what you would consider like a content update itself. So, as I mentioned, crossplay parties are going to be coming in the reinforced update, which we are calling a quality of life focused update. And the server browser will still be in the next update. So, as we mentioned, we've been working on these two updates simultaneously, so just the order swap makes the most sense. And when it comes to the details of what exactly is in the biggest update, that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. Probably by next stream, we'll have a lot more to talk about in regards to what is the contents of this update. But as you can see on screen, it's contained within Q2 of 2022. Q2 just means, between the months of May, June, July. So you can expect, once we hit May, that you're going to start hearing pieces of information, as well as a name reveal and more stuff about that.
It gets more and more exciting because the closer that we get, the more I really want to talk about it, and then seeing everything come together is just this constant build up. So I can't wait to finally just make the announcement when we're ready, which is getting a lot closer.
it feels like it's just around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. And over the next stream, the next few streams, we're going to be taking a deep dive into what exactly is contained within that update. So we hope that while it's not a lot of information yet, I think you guys have a lot to be excited about. And we definitely look forward to talking about that more in the future as well.
I know I am. I believe we're going to have a segment today. I know I see a lot of comments in chat. People are really excited about some of the stuff that's coming and also want to know some more about some ongoing things that they want to talk about. So we do have a segment for that we'll be getting to, and I can expand a little bit on some of the things that we'll go from there.
Yeah, if there's kind of any questions, concerns, comments that you guys have in chat, we're going to be doing our best to answer the bulk of them that we're able to answer at this time. Obviously, sometimes there are some comments that we can't address within this specific time frame, but that doesn't mean that we're ignoring you. Like Moon and I will definitely take note of the concerns that you guys have and bring those up with the team and see if we can address those at a future date if we can't address those right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what people actually think that update is. We won't be able to answer anything, but I think it'd be fun to just have people just starting guessing a little bit and getting excited like we are. Even though we can't talk about it.
While I am gonna, can I do this while I'm streaming? Let's see. I'm gonna swap this image, and I should have made a separate graphic for it so we can talk about exactly how cross parties will be working. Beautiful. All right, that should be on screen now. So as Moon and I mentioned, cross parties will be in the 2.6 update. So there'll be a 2.5 update next, which will contain the server browser. And then the 2.6 update after 2.5 will contain crossplay parties. So what you're seeing on screen right now is a UI implementation of how that'll work. There's kind of like a bunch of technical details that I'm going to run through. Some of it may not fully digest because it'll be a little bit of me just talking at you. So again, if you want to read the actual details of this, we released a post all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Discord. So if you want like the specific details, feel free to look there as well. But basically, we're going to be using an invite code system that all players will be assigned. And then this invite code will be displayed in the game social screen, which you're seeing right now. The social screen actually already exists on PC, but that'll be new to console players. So this new screen will look totally new for you guys. This code can be shared outside of Shiv 2. So if you want to like hit your friends up on Discord, you can give them your code, swap codes, and that way you can create a group really easily. The code right there is going to be in the bottom right-hand screen where it says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc., etc. Using that code, you can add friends that way. You can press the Add Friends button right underneath, or you can just add them directly to your party that way. In addition to that, if you don't want to use like this friend code method, you're going to be able to register an EGS account if you don't already have one. Like if you're on Xbox or PlayStation, for example, you won't have an EGS account already, maybe. So you can make one, and then you can use that to easily party up with people who are using EGS already. But if you don't want to make an EGS account, you don't have to. You can still use this friend code system.
I'm glad you had all that written down because there's a lot to take in there.
I try to make it as simple as possible. It's basically you have like the two different methods of you can get your invite code, give it to people, share it with people, or you can make an EGS account and then you can share that way.
Yeah, it definitely sounds pretty flexible. So I'm glad we went that route.
Yes, ideally we want to make sure that it's accessible to all of the different platforms and also relatively easy to use. So that's why I kind of would recommend people make an EGS account just because it's actually a lot more simpler than having to send people your code every time. But we don't want to restrict it just to that. So if that's not for you, then you can just use this friend code of yours whenever you want.
Thanks for the raid, Mayhem. It's good to see you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayhem. Welcome all Mr. Mayhem viewers to our chat. We appreciate you guys. I see ex Abby Gamer says, Jen, you gotta change your background, girl. You've been on that map too long. I'm sorry. I am stuck on Fighting Pit. I fell down in the pit and I haven't been able to get out since.
I don't think I can ever get enough of Fighting Pit. I'm always super excited when that map comes up.
Oh, too good. You guys crack me up. Jen is camping. Thank you, thank you. Pharaoh, we're gonna have some more information about cross-save info in the future, but not a ton to share about that right now.
I saw some guesses for what the what the update was. Longsword on Vanguard. That would indeed be a massive update. I can't say anything though.
The next background is going to be inside the pit. Yeah. I'll get that up for you next time, and then people will be like, "What's going on? This seems a little weird."
We need a progressing stream story, Jen, of like
Sorry,
different locations.
I need to be more creative.
We did a really fun thing before release. I think we were coming up with some ideas for what the community might like to do to spend time as we got closer to the Shiv 2 release date. And I think my favorite thing we pursued was a pick your own path adventure for new maps and stuff that we had.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good one. We should definitely do that more.
It was cool. I had to have so many branches ready just in case whatever people were voting for. It was great.
I see kind of a lot of people just asking questions, so I wouldn't mind just kind of asking answering a few just random chivalry related questions if you guys have them. If you have questions specific for Moon and I noticed Kind Noob says, what does it feel like to be a developer? It's pretty fun. It's fun to talk to you guys about Chivalry 2 all the time. Obviously we get really excited when we see stuff that our team is working on, and presenting that to you guys is always super fun. I'm not the best Chivalry 2 player in the world, but I do my best. And I always learn a lot from you guys and from the team. So
I think it really helps a lot what you're working on too.
Yeah.
I have been here for quite a few years. Well, quite a few years. A few years now. We both got hired around the same time, and I think we've both gotten so much out of this experience, and just being a part of it really makes me happy doing what I do.
Yeah, and especially with our biggest update ever coming, there's definitely a feeling of excitement when you've worked on something for a long time. And then this happens basically every update where we kind of have to go into a period of dormancy where we're kind of heads down, really focused on what we're working on. And it can feel maybe to the community that we're not listening as much or not talking as much. But we're basically kind of heads down, full steam ahead on the update. And then now we're kind of in this period where we're almost ready to talk about it, super close. And we're kind of at the start of a very big, exciting time for Chivalry 2, if that makes sense.
I saw a question about if the map that you had is in the background is if it's a new one, and it is a TDM map. It's TDM LTS, last team standing. For those who don't know, it's also Arena. So yeah,
yes.
It's definitely out there.
So it's technically not new. I'm sorry, but there's always new maps to come in the future.
I was tempted to put a hint in my background somewhere, but then I thought better of it. So we're not going to be doing that.
I mean, there'll definitely be teasers and hints coming at some point, but
that's how excited we are. We're just trying not to talk about it this whole time.
I noticed a few things that are kind of things that I've wanted to also address in terms of most common community concerns, or one of them being console FOV. So we've kind of talked about it in the past. It's still, I don't have necessarily a lot of new information there to give you guys, but that's something that is on our list of things to look at. No dates or anything associated with that, but that we know that that's something that you guys are asking for. I know, I'm sorry, Abyss Gamer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can probably talk a little bit about what that means basically is with the FOV slider. I think what people often don't realize is that as soon as you raise the FOV on something, then you are actively increasing the performance costs. And so performance is something that we definitely want to get a balance of, where it's just like you guys have a good experience overall. And we're just investigating what those costs are and what's feasible to do, whether it's, so that's all I can say right now. Definitely interested in exploring that option, and we have it on the in the background being with that.
Yeah, and I could say that that's generally the opinion of any new features is, we do a lot of risk evaluation. Is there any risk of how that feature will impact, performance? And for number one, are there any gameplay implications? For number two, not necessarily for that feature, but just features in general. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're happy that you guys brought it up, because we do want to talk about things when we can, and we are listening to you guys for sure. This has been something that we hasn't necessarily confirmed or denied, but we're just saying like this is something we're looking at.
I know that there's been some concerns from the community that you feel like maybe your concerns aren't being heard by us. And that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to have more like a community focus stream where I could kind of emphasize to you guys that, even though these changes aren't being implemented right now, just because we're super focused on getting our next content update out, that it doesn't mean that these issues won't be addressed or are unknown to us. We can't guarantee that every issue that you have right now will be addressed within, a certain period of time. But I would say that the critical issues are definitely known to us, and we try to prioritize that as well as release new content at the same time.
Yeah, someone asked about Coxwell, and I think it's pretty safe to say that a fix is already in our dev build. So the next update should have Coxwell back in the rotation, just so you guys know.
Yeah, so for Coxwell in particular, there's going to be map balance changes overall to help improve some of the stuff that was introduced in the last update. I think there's also an exploit fix for the end of the map as well, which Coxwell players will be happy to hear about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Coxwell as a map definitely has some super memorable moments too, and I'm not biased at all, I promise.
I feel like we need to have some more maps with playable peasants. I've seen some requests for a peasant class, and I just feel like we definitely need more playable peasants in the game.
I mean, I'll always root for a peasant class. It's funny too, because all our developers really bring unique perspectives. We have people from all over the game industry and all over the world working together on this, and we really value like what the company is, what people really enjoy in the company in terms of what they want and where we want to go with things. So there's definitely an influence from you guys, and as well from our internal team for what ends up actually happening. Could be a different story depending on what the priorities are and timelines and everything like that. But yeah, it's all part of the process. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Gerson says, "Can Jeffrey be an unlockable hero?" Thanks for nothing, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I worked on that cutscene. So I did the audio for that cutscene, and I was trying to find just like of the existing audio palette that we had, just something interesting to put in that moment, because it's such a unique, like hilarious moment. And I ended up stumbling across that line. I thought, hey, this is perfect. And then it just took off.
Yeah, little did you know it would be so iconic.
Like willed the lore into it.
Kind Noob says, "How did you guys get Jacksepticeye?" So we actually had quite a few influencers that we reach out to and ask them if they wanted to do peasant voices. So we have a few in there, and luckily they said yes. Nothing too complex. We just asked nicely, and they were like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do it."
Yeah, those guys are my favorites. And then it got even better when we released Raid, because you can just carry them around and they'll start talking to you as you're carrying the peasants around. So have a listen to that.
Awesome. I'm just reading through our chat to see if there's any other stuff that I can address that are specific to your concerns. I actually don't know what the console FOV is at now.
I believe it's 90.
90 makes sense.
Ooh, I think we can maybe talk a little about team stacking. That we've had some discussions there, and we don't have anything too much to tell you right now. I think what it comes down to is there's a balance between matching with friends, and if friends happen to be high level, we definitely want to encourage them being on the same team. And then there's the idea of just balancing by player level as well. So there's a fine very, very fine-tuned where we have people in both camps that would prefer one or the other. And so I think we're talking about what we could potentially do there, as well as some additional balance things where people are crossing over from one team just to stack it. I think we have some balance changes coming there as well. That'll make that a little bit less annoying for people, I think, when it comes down to it. So yeah, I think that's the update I can do there.
Yeah, and in the immediate, I know that it can be frustrating to deal with, people stacking on the same team. We want to make sure that we are able to balance that respectively and also allow people to play on whatever team they'd like to play on. Because I think that's kind of one of the nice things about Chivalry is that, if you are a diehard Mason fan, obviously you'd like to play on Mason. Or if you always want to be Agatha, we want to give you that opportunity to play on Agatha. So we don't want to remove choices. I think that most people will agree that removing choices in games kind of sucks. Losing your freedom to choose what you'd like to do. But obviously, we also want to take into consideration these concerns about teams being unbalanced and what we can do there to make that better.
Yeah, I think Chronic Mayhem actually really highlights where we're coming from with the issue too, because we have people who want to be playing with their friends and people who want to be playing with their parties, and both systems kind of influence on the side of making sure that the teams are even. But if you're going into a big match with a large party, then the balancing system will want to shift it to make it more even and stuff. So there's a lot of under the hood stuff there that I think is always ongoing for what's the best way to go about it. And we're going to keep talking about that too.
For sure. I do see a concern about chase mechanic on consoles. I want to acknowledge that we know that that's an issue, that chase mechanic's not working on consoles, and it's kind of on our list to investigate and see what's up there. And hopefully get it fixed in a future build.
Cool. I didn't realize that we had already shipped 4 major updates. Jeez, everything's just like going by in a flash right now.
I know, it seems like Gallancourt was just yesterday, but time flies.
Still one of my favorite maps for sure. It was awesome.
Let's see. So people in chat, what's your favorite map in the game right now? Let me know in the chat. What map's the best?
Give us an update hint. Oh god, I wish I could.
I can't give hints. I don't want to get fired.
Oh, these are good. I was actually playing in Courtyard for fun the other day, and it's great when you play normally, but once in a while you'll get people who are very focused on role playing and stuff. So we were able to just kind of hang out. We had like a peasant battling a knight, and everyone was just kind of standing in a circle watching. Oh, it was so much fun. I live for these moments.
A lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of Rudhelm, a lot of Lionspire. I think Redhelm's winning.
Yeah, Redhelm's fantastic. But the other follow-up question is, what makes it your favorite? Because I think that's an important distinction that we're always looking to learn more about.
Yeah. Actually, that's something that I would like to do with the community at some point is do kind of like a survey of, ranking your maps. What kind of objectives do players like the most? What objective types do you guys like the least? And hopefully we can use feedback like that in a future map. So we'll see if we can try to get that out to players as well. Little question and answer survey.
Yeah, we were trying a smaller version of that where we had a survey coming in through internally and through our community testers where we're just like, okay, what are the objectives that people like? Why or why not? And I think that's really going to be super helpful for driving forward like future maps and things too.
Yeah. Says, are you going to fix the bug of invisible weapons? Ambitiously, I will say yes. We would like to fix that. It's a really strange issue where we can't reproduce it on demand, but we do know that it happens. And every time that we do a playtest, if it happens to somebody, we will, say, everybody stop. We need to record this information so we can see what's going on. So yes, that's definitely something that's on our radar and something that we're looking at.
Yeah, there's about 10, I say 10, it could be 100, 10 to 100 different factors that influence how that manifests. And we've definitely done a lot of investigation on already. So it usually only happens on one client at a time, and that client has to be using our dev tools to get specific extra information. And then we had a back and forth of, okay, what dev tools do we need to make sure that we're getting the the right information, because if it has different causes, it needs different debug tools. So it's definitely an ongoing thing, but I think that we are starting to own in on a little bit, and I think we have a pretty good idea of how we're going to be able to tackle it. There's no timeline on it. I think it's just something that we know that you guys want fixed, and we want to fix it too. So
yeah, Bafty Bannon. If you happen to notice that you're doing something that makes it happen more often, definitely hit us up in the bugs channel, and we'd appreciate, if you are doing certain steps that reproduce it every time. That kind of information is always useful. So yeah, definitely relay anything in the bugs channel. We always appreciate that, and that goes for any bugs that you guys have. The best bug reports are the ones that give us steps to reproduce that issue that you're getting. It helps us address those issues a lot faster.
yeah, there's nothing better for our QA to get to see these reports, and then it automatically includes the who, what, when, where, why. Is kind of what it boils down to. And if we just get a bug report where it's like this thing happens, then we take a look at the context, and sometimes we can figure that out. But sometimes there's a really weird thing that happened beforehand that we didn't see in the video that might have caused that. Yeah, it's QA is a fun challenge that I don't think people really have seen. And I started in QA, and for me, my favorite part was kind of tackling the puzzle. It's like, okay, this is what's happening, and then working your way backwards if you get a report and see what could potentially be the case. And sometimes you'll spend days on a single bug just tackling it, or even just longer over time. It's a really niche kind of part of the industry that I think is underappreciated, and I'm glad that we have such talent working behind that.
Yeah, I agree. QA is definitely probably the most underappreciated developer position. I've done a little bit of QA in the past. I've done QA on different platforms, consoles. I've even done QA on phone apps. It's a lot. It's a lot of repetitive work as well. So we definitely send our love to the QA team on Chivalry 2 as well.
Yeah, so shout out to our QA guys.
Yeah.
Awesome work so far, guys, and our community testers who are one of the roles of community testers that we talked a little bit about last time was if you guys report a bug and it doesn't have too much information in the main channel, we'll talk to them about it and say, hey, have you guys seen this? Could we get more specific instructions for this? It's really helpful all around.
For sure. Cody, no. I don't necessarily have a super obvious answer for you about how dual servers will be affected by the console browser change. That's something that we are definitely, it's on our radar. Obviously, the access to the server browser for console players, I think, will have a little bit of growing pains, but I think once everybody understands kind of how dual servers work, that'll kind of iron itself out. But it's something that we'll definitely keep on our radar. And if you specifically have any concerns or ways that you think that can be improved, definitely reach out to me specifically. I'd love to talk about it. Yeah, I don't want it to feel like that's being ignored by any means. So definitely reach out and we'll have a more thorough conversation about it.
Doing a lot of reading here.
I know there's a lot of questions in the chat, a lot of active participation in the chat, which is nice. I appreciate it a lot. I have a few more minutes for questions, and then we're actually going to move on to our next segment, which is our community guest for the stream. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. I'll try to answer as many as I can in those 2 minutes. If your question doesn't get answered, I don't want you to feel like you've been ignored, but we're doing our best.
Yeah.
I think that in terms of future features, like a dual system from Civ 1, there's always things that we want to do. I think that that's the biggest crux, is that we always have things that we want to do, and we don't have enough developer power or time to do everything. But we definitely try our best to kind of prioritize what things the community are asking for the most. Yeah, I would just say we do our best, and I think that that's a cool idea, and you never know what the future holds.
Yeah, I remember last time I looked, we had just had a huge list of we want to do this. Like it
Yeah.
depends on how much we can get to, and we definitely have a lot of stuff from the community in there. And I think you have your representatives, especially with Jen and I, who are making sure that your stuff gets posted on what the considerations are for future stuff.
If you missed the beginning of our stream where we talked about the roadmap changes, I'll just go over that again real quick. Basically, the order of the next two updates were swapped. So those two updates are still coming to you guys. The content that is in those updates has remained the same. Just the order is being swapped due to the fact that we were able to make a lot more progress on the content update versus crossplay parties in particular. So the crossplay parties are still coming. Those will be in the reinforced update. And the console server browser will still be in our next update, which is update 2.5. So there's not any delay in when you guys will get a new patch. It's just that the order of those two patches will be swapped. When is the update coming? Soon. You will find more information, but the date on that is Q2 of 2022. So what Q2 means is it basically is a period of time of May, June, July. So it could be any time in there. But I will say that you will hear more about an actual date sooner rather than later. You will not hear about it in July.
The console server browser is basically giving consoles the ability to see the servers that are already present for the PC players. That basically comes down to
Yes. Yeah. So actually, that's a good point, Mark. Is that for console players who haven't seen what the server browser is, it's basically a list of servers that are accessible, and it just allows you to join whatever server you want rather than queuing up for matchmaking and getting a random server. So the implementation will be exactly as it is on PC, which is basically a list of servers. You can choose what kind of mode you want, that kind of thing.
I see some Brawl lovers in the chat. We know that Brawl doesn't have a huge feature right now, which is because it's not actively in the game right now, but it's one of those that we want to bring back occasionally for different times a year and things like that. So we're exploring exactly what we want that to look like, but Brawl's a lot of fun to play, so I'm always happy to get back.
For sure. I'm excited to if our guest is here with us. I'm going to be introducing our guest now. Today we're going to be joined by Empress Luna, who is part of our partner program and a member of the Chivalry 2 community. Are you there, Luna? Luna.
Watch it be me. It's me. Luna did have to run away a little bit before the stream started, so she might not be back yet. It's totally fine.
Yeah, she stepped away.
Sorry. Hello, friends. I just feel like my mic was muted. Sorry about that. I'm back. Hello.
Hi. It's okay. I didn't give you a big heads up there, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's really excited to see you in the chat. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Hello, friends.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Luna is a member of our partner program and is a streamer on Twitch, so I'm going to be playing a VOD of Luna's while we're talking.
Cool.
I love the graphic in the bottom right. That's fantastic.
The little arrow in the head, so cute.
Oh, yeah. My character has like arrows through her hands and all over her back as well.
Is that how you feel about archers?
Yeah, I have an interesting relationship with archers. But you know, like I won't get too into it, but I will say, you know, like they are a pain, but you know, I do think they have a place in Chivalry.
Definitely a love it or hate it type of aspect. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm playing an archer, and it's very fun when I'm killing people. But you know, less fun when I'm being killed. But to be fair, it's less fun to be killed in general.
Yeah.
Do you have a certain class that you really like playing as? I really see the Vanguard Danax feature right there.
Yeah. So Vanguard Venax is one of my two favorite class weapon combos. The other being Longsword Knight. But yeah, one of my favorite things to do, and yeah, this is my favorite map as well, Fallmire, is to just pull out the Danaxes and work our way up to the last objective, and then escape as champion. Because I do usually get it, and I've escaped as the champion so many times that I can't. I've lost count, but yeah, it's my favorite map.
What I'm hearing is
I love that.
you're very good at getting the VIP and being
What I'm
top
hearing
scoring.
is you're better than both of us combined.
Yeah.
is what it sounded like.
I'd love to 1vx you guys, but
Oh no.
yeah, the ping, it's
Yeah.
it sucks.
It is ready to go. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, this is awesome. I think Fallmire was one of the. I think it was the last map we were able to get in before launch. So it was really cool. I think very exciting seeing that come in, like just squeaking in just before our due date, and I really love the result of it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love the hero mechanic, or the VIP mechanic. And I'm so glad that, like, when the Highlander update came out, they had multiple VIPs at the end. I thought that was such a great addition.
You like playing as a
we thought
druid
that
as
was
well?
awesome. I remember our level design team having a discussion and really wanting to give that experience to more people, because usually for the launch maps it was top player, and we're like, well, this is great, and
Yeah,
we just want more people to have that enjoyment too. So
yeah, absolutely. I often like look at the next person down. And I'm like, do you want king? Yeah, no.
Aw.
yeah. Now,
But yeah, no.
are you a Mason or an Agathian? Let's see what chat says about
Oh, I think I'm more of a Mason, just because I really love the Evil Queen voice lines. They're just so funny. But since I always play Agatha on this map. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I also play Agatha on Aberfell.
Right.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I don't often become a druid. I'm usually trying to hunt them down.
I think my screen froze on the Twitch stream, but I'm really happy with where it froze. So let's we should be good.
You're right. There we go. Let's see. Think you're back.
Oh, there we go. I'm not sure what you did to fix it, but thank you.
It doesn't like having both of these up here. I will swap this really quick.
No problem at all. Yeah, if you want me to be frozen, I'm totally good with that.
I'm just going to move this. Woo! It's going to be a little bit funky on my stream for a second. There you go.
Yeah, I saw the context of the Mason voices, and I think that's a great comment. And having the Druid voices, it's too bad you don't play Druids too much, because I'll purposely
the Druid voices, they're so good.
We're hoping to have them feature a little bit more in some capacity, but we'll see about that.
I have some ideas for like maps. Like that was one of the questions you guys sent me earlier.
Yeah, I'd love to talk
what would be your ideal Chivalry 2 map? And like, I've been itching for modding tools for ages. But as soon as they're available, or like, I don't know, whenever that happens, I'd love a TO map that combines all of my favorite objective designs from different maps, and the battle begins like on a snow-capped mountaintop.
Ooh.
On a clear sunny day.
Starting at the top.
And then starting at the top of the mountain, and then as the battle progresses, you start to move down the mountain towards the city, and then you got to free a champion, obviously, but it's also champion versus champion. So the freed champion would verse the king of the city, and then then they'd annex the city and then that would be the scenario.
I like this
I think there's
idea.
a lot of possibilities with VIP play, and it's just a matter of what that ends up looking like,
Yeah.
So, what is your history with Chivalry? Were you a Chivalry 1 player, or is Chivalry 2 your first foray into the genre?
Well, everyone talks about Chivalry 1 and 2, but like back in the day, like I was just a Deadliest Warrior girl, like
It's definitely
But yeah,
understandable.
yeah, with Chivalry, I did start playing Chivalry 1 back in the day. I was still living with my parents at the time, and we had the worst internet, so I couldn't properly get into it. But it was always a favorite among friends. And yeah, I think I do have more hours in Deadliest Warrior. I really loved being a ninja and having that dash ability and running around with a staff and poking people. And the pirates were hilarious as well, like just being drunk and shooting pistols and just laughing. Yeah, that humor element really carried across all of the Chivalry games, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I think Deadliest Warrior is really cool in that instead of like the 4 classes that you just have this less characters and less people overall, but like they were all just so unique, and like bringing in a gun with a pirate was wild as well, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it was like asymmetrical, but it's still kind of like held together. It was really really cool.
Definitely, yeah. So you're progressing along nicely with this objective. Oh man, I wish I could see the scoreboard right now. This is fantastic.
This objective is like my least favorite in Full Maya. So back on like the objective design kind of thing, one of my favorite things in maps is when they split the players off into different areas. And I noticed that like that was a huge part of Aberfell. And it was really good. It's fantastic for when there's more than like 40 players or 40 players and up. Any less, then it can get a little bit tricky to like sometimes it feels very unbalanced. But yeah, like one of the problems with objectives like this is that once one side has been taken care of, everybody focuses on this one point, and it can get really chaotic. And I like crowded like choke points are like the one thing I hate the most. But at the same time, uh, yeah, I think they do have a place as well because it does add variety to the level.
I'd say
Yeah, I think
that's
those are
fair.
very fair points.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of a direct visual of how important that we find this feedback as well, because like we'll hear this and we'll see it on stream, and our testers and stuff will help us as well, and our developers, and we have like this feedback channel basically that this all gets poured into, and the level designers are so receptive to hearing about all these things all the time. So they even said to me like last week, they're like, Mark, can you put this in front of us a bit quicker? And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you if you really want that, I can definitely take some time to do that. So I think it's great that you were able to vocalize why the objective you don't like it, and I think that's equally as important for vocalizing why we do like objectives. So thank you for that.
Mm.
Yeah,
No worries.
As I mentioned earlier, that's something I think that we'd like to do more is more like what objectives do people enjoy the most, or if they don't enjoy it, what don't they enjoy about it? Yeah, that's definitely valuable feedback for us.
Yeah, 100%. I really like having this bridge part because of all of the flanking routes that you can do. And usually the lower part of the bridge is very quiet compared to the top one. And you can usually find either a friend if you want to role play, or sneak around to those side ladders, as you can see right there in that stream.
So when you were playing Deadliest Warrior, did you feel like you picked it up pretty fast? Or did it take some time to get used to it? The controls and just the genre?
From what I remember, like, yeah, like I picked it up fairly quickly, but I could never really like the internet problem and just like cutting out or lagging. I just had bad internet back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I have good internet, I live in the city, I can have all the fun I want.
What is
Yeah, no.
do you have any
Sorry, go on.
advice for someone who's trying to learn or get better at the game? Like how can they become the Falmar champion like you?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just take
So
notes here.
yeah, all right. Get a notepad and so I think it just comes down to effective practice and being conscious of that. So if you start doing well with a single weapon, make sure to switch weapons whenever you're having fun, like because you don't want to like go down a route where you keep using the same weapon and then as soon as you start using something else, you'll have a bad time, which is why I say like when you're happy, switch to a different weapon then so that you can like sort of move out of your comfort zone because it's so important to play a variety of weapons, and not only a variety of weapons but also a variety of game modes as well. um so I spend about 90% of my time in team objective. I wish that I could spend more time in free for all, but I can't because in Oceania we often don't have a free for all server running. It's very hard to like get it going, and we have to sort of organize the community to like all jump in. But when it does get going, it's really fun. But yeah, no. So I do spend 90% of my time on team objective, but I would recommend people spend maybe 80% of their time on team objective and free for all, and then 20% of their time doing dueling. Because with duels, you can really focus on that stamina management aspect of the game, and also it's great just to like refine being able to read certain attacks and movements for the countering system and so on.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point there, especially when it comes to different game modes, duels, and team objective, specifically in the context of one versus X and one versus one. How you might approach a situation could be entirely different, right?
Yeah, super different. There are some really good duelists, but sometimes when those duelists jump into team objective, it's like all they do is duel. So when they end up in these 1vx situations, there's a whole bit of learning that they need to do. And I feel like you need to spend most of your time in team objective, because it also helps with learning different levels of skill between players. You get a whole variety of people. And with that practice, you can work out what is the most effective way to take out an opponent. Like, what is the quickest way to kill someone based on their skill level? And that just comes through practice. Like, yeah, it becomes second nature eventually. But yeah, no, I actually, yeah, I would spend more time in duels, but it kind of like stresses me out a bit because like I gotta put so much focus into dueling, like especially when it's someone who's quite good. It's like it's so much energy goes into it, and it can be often quite exhausting. But that's just me in particular. Some people can just like live with that and they love it. And there's also this aspect where it's like in team objective, I've established my reputation, but in duels, I kind of have to upkeep it. So there's that like the stakes are there.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
feel
less
that.
chill for me.
Yeah. Do you have a specific dual weapon that you tend to use, or is it switching up just as often with that?
Um, well, originally, like the Australian duels scene has been like longsword for quite a while. Um, However, there were certain things like that I saw from like other regions that they were doing, and also people were commenting on my stream. Like, girl with a shovel came on and said, "Hey, do this cool thing with a greatsword," and it was like, "Oh, that's how you do that. Cool, sweet. Now I can be chill about this. I don't have to do countering. I can work with riposts more." that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm not the best duelist in Oceania, but I was a finalist in the Oceania Duel tournament. We both got to match point, but Peelsy got the better of me. The two other big names in the Oceania duel scene are Ranger and Marmite, but they didn't participate in that tournament. So I'm sure like if they were to be in that tournament, they would destroy me. But since then, my power has grown.
I'm watching this and I'm seeing a lot of power here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely terrified right now.
So Team Objective is definitely my favorite game mode, but I think it would probably be free for all, if I could play it more often. Like I'm the final boss on the battlefield, or so I've been told by people. Players will often run away or beg for mercy, and it's really funny. But if you indicate that you don't want to fight me, then I won't. But if you cross me in battle intentionally, I will not show mercy. Many alliances have been formed. Shout out to Z Scarecrow, who I formed my first truce with. People say he's good, but I don't know because I never fight him.
Yeah, once you made the truce must stand.
I'm seeing this whirlwind of steel on the battlefield in action right now. I think you made a really cool point about dueling in different regions, because it's something that I can really appreciate being worldwide and having all these different like sub communities form around this game, and then seeing how they approach things differently in the kind of community that they have and the kind of play styles that they have. So yeah, it's really cool for me to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, it really is interesting. Like there's so many things that you can pick up from different regions, but like I would love to see like a group of people from different regions just go to those countries and then fight each other and see what happens. Like what does that look like? What does it feel like, It would be really interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that in the year 2022 that the world has not worked out a better way to decrease ping between different regions so we could all just play together, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way.
Right?
So we just saw you victorious here on Falmire. Very exciting. Excellent.
Oh, it's over so quickly.
Oh no. If
you want more footage,
I can just skip back.
It depends on how much time. Yeah, just skip
back.
back.
A couple minutes.
That's fine.
That's okay. I will just skip back right here. Hopefully it loads okay. If anybody has any questions for Miss Luna in the chat here, we have about 7 minutes left. Any questions about being part of the partner program, about streaming on Twitch, combat advice, anything like that. I do want to give you a chance to talk about your Twitch. How long have you been streaming on Twitch for?
Yeah, so I just started streaming this year. I started off uploading a few YouTube videos, and people were liking that, and they were like, "Oh, let's do you have a stream or whatever?" I'm like, "Oh," but yeah. So I got into it, and I started doing VTubing because one, it's comfy, like I can sit here in my pajamas and it's fine. But it's also really creative. I've been a game developer for 15 years now, and it opens up so many opportunities to use that talent that I've acquired over these years, and then receive immediate engagement and feedback with that. And yeah, I love it so much. I've got some pretty big plans for my stream, such as like interactive Twitch games and experiences, and a whole lot of cool stuff on the way that I'm super excited about.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited to see that. We have a question for you from Bungie Bad, who says, "What is the fastest way to level up in game?" Do you have any advice there?
Play team objective. That's all. Yeah, just
Play TO.
but also, yeah, just play TO. I don't know. You just have to get effective practice, and you'll level up fast. Like, 'cause obviously, like I top score a lot, so I level up a lot faster than most people, and like that. Like when I compare hours with different people, it's like, oh, you got the same amount of hours, but you're twice my level. Why? It's just that, like, and like people will play more dueling, and you won't get as much XP in dueling. But if you hop into TO, that's where the XP is at.
There you go. Chronic Mayhem says the answer is get good. I like that response.
Pretty much, a little bit, yeah.
That is one thing that we actually do know about, where we extended the time that duels happen, so that instead of having to reload into a match every 10 minutes or so, we extended it to an hour, but the XP rate stayed the same because it required finishing the match. So that's something that's on our radar as well. I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, that's a big one as well.
I want to give a shout out to Fat Walrus, who has a KD of 0.0003. So that's pretty comparable to mine.
I have a KD of 3.9, but
Wow.
I'm slowly moving it up, like, and it's been moving up over the last few months.
Sheesh.
It does take a while. It would be higher, but like as soon as archers start playing, my KD goes down.
Oh.
It's like I can't do anything about it. I'll get into a 1vx, it'll be awesome, and then like halfway through I'll just die from an arrow at my head.
It happens.
I think I like playing with the peasant too much to ever have a probably good KD.
Now that the warbow's in the game, being Vanguard is very punishing sometimes with the health. In this game, I was enjoying having that extra little bit of health, and I don't like usually play man at arms. It's my least played class. That's the class name, right? Or is it the
Footman?
Well, this is Footman. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
Footman. Yeah, I don't usually play Footman, but yeah, it's so chill playing Pullman.
Yeah, it's always good to switch it up sometimes, have some fun.
The chase mechanic is a known bug there, Girder. Yeah, it's a good comment with the Vanguard and the Archer stuff. I think in general, I can talk a little bit about that. I'm not a designer, but I know a bit of the rationale there. So where we want ultimately every class to be mostly balanced, or mostly balanced. We want them to be balanced. With the nature of that, I think with the style of weapons that we have and everything, that we, by nature, with class perks and things and armor types, there ultimately are some things that do better than other things when you're matching up against them. But having that overall balance is pretty important for us too. So you're never going to be at like a big disadvantage, and we're aiming to not have that be the case. But there are some things where it's like this type of arrow will do more damage to this class, and I think that's just part of the meta we have going on right now.
Mm-hmm. It can be a little harder in TO when there's so many people and everything coming from everywhere.
I think arrows are less oppressive when there's more people on, because there's more meat shield.
That's true.
Yeah, now you just have to watch out for your ally arrows.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys can't prove it.
I get hit by friendly arrows just as much as I do enemy arrows.
This is why nobody wants me to play Archer, because honestly, it's even unintentionally, I'm hitting most of my team most of the time.
Oh. I want to give you a chance. Is there any? Do you want to shout out your own Twitch channel before we head off, or any other shout outs you'd like to do, Luna?
I have, yeah, I do have a couple. Okay, so like I was talking about this before. the one thing I love about this game is that you can joke around a bit, and in Oceania we have a clan of goats whose sole objective is just to mess around and like do the funny voice lines and emotes and really amplify that cornerstone of humor that Chivalry has always carried so well. So a shout out to Honest Goat, the Goat King.
You heard it here.
Yeah, as for weapons that I'd like to see in this game, I reckon Iron Claws for the ambusher would be sick.
Iron Claws.
Or just
ooh.
Yeah, I've got a couple ideas for ambusher. So like it would be because I love the ambusher class for its like high damage output and like some interesting, like it's a different way to play the game when you start using it. So I was thinking maybe we could try like a faster sprint speed for the ambusher, as long as they're using the smaller weapons. Or maybe instead of the quiver, like they could drop a smoke bomb and then immediately like start sprinting.
Ooh, those are some interesting ideas.
Yeah,
I like that the ambusher class has like a smaller but very dedicated community oriented towards them. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I feel like I'm playing like the spy from TF2 when I pull out the ambusher. On Courtyard, I always get ambusher out because it's just such a good map for it.
Oh man, all the flank routes and everything. It's a great point. It's a lot of fun.
One other thing I would like to say is level 1000 weapon skins when?
Level 1000. Oh, I'm going to add that to our to-do list specifically for you.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely want to say thank you for joining us on the stream today. We definitely appreciate you being here and showing us
Thank you
off
so much.
your wonderful VOD and your skills and all your advice. We really appreciate that. I also want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat who joined us today. We had a lot of new viewers at the beginning. I saw a lot of new followers, and we really appreciate that. Our next stream, which will be in 2 weeks from now, we're going to be, as I mentioned, we're going to be amping up the stream, so we hope that you guys will join us then. As always, you can find us on any of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Discord. We're all over the place. And at any time, you can review our current roadmap at chivalry2.com/roadmap. Any final thoughts, anybody?
Is it safe to say they won't want to miss the stream in 2 weeks?
Oh, definitely safe to say they won't want to miss it.
You're not going to want to miss the stream in 2 weeks.
Thank you again,
Thanks
Luna.
so much for joining, everybody.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you again very soon.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure.
All the best.